Good. We are live. Right. Hi, guys. I was just having trouble with the mouse. It'd gone to sleep. But how's things worldwide, nationwide, wherever you are wide? I'm wide awake. Hopefully, you guys will be. I'll bring in my ear maggot for the morning or for the afternoon, our early afternoon session.
Hello there.
The one and only Andy.
I don't know about that.
We'll just do a quick weather report from down here in West Sussex, England. It is sunny. It is
Very
27.
warm.
Yeah, 27 outside at the moment, and virtually no breeze. So
Oh, I've got my own breeze on. So
yeah, the trees are just slightly moving outside the workshop. That's why I disappeared. So
yeah, fractionally, I can see them out the window. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, a
we've
little
got
bit. But
stranger in the camp this morning. We've got Barry Fitch in. Hi, mate.
oh, hello,
Finally
Barry.
made it back. Barry is a club member, so
I saw him on Sunday morning.
we do have a bit of banter. So right, you're going in the background, Andy.
Yep.
I see John's in as well from Jigsy Shed.
Oh yes, saw him on Saturday morning.
You should have seen him Saturday night.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
He was doing the punt.
I saw him doing a karaoke with Stuart.
Yeah.
And Scott.
Yeah, that was a laugh and a half. That was above. So if I go on to this camera, which is that one, and get the mouse off of there, this is the piece that was remaining after you decided that you wanted the other piece last week turned, which unfortunately is indoors in the box because that's already been out on display. Jigsy's saying he's not going down that live. Too late, mate. It's broadcast nationwide. So that's the bit you rejected last week. And morning, Felicity. I then turned it over to show you that you'd actually rejected the piece that you wanted the week previously, the right-hand piece. And it was then discussed that you were wanting it because of the colour, the purple in here, and the features on it. So I said, that's fine with me. We'll do it this week then. So looking at it, those are two bits of branch coming up there, and that's where they come from. So these have just been daubed in with a bit of super glue. Looks like that might have been where the first branch started from, emanated out of that with the look of the colour and the figure in there. The only problem with this piece is there is a little bit of a branch bark inclusion there on that side, but from that finger round to that finger, where are we, is a split come shake, which has now been super glued. So anyone got any quick suggestions? Which is top? The right bit with the R on or the bit that's blank? Hi, Greg. Hi, Robert. Robbo.
Yeah, the singing of that trio made Joe sound like a diva, he says.
Yeah.
He's obviously watched it too.
You were fortunate, Robbo, that you weren't there. And I can say there are more. And,
oh dear.
Yeah, there are more. If I can work out how to do it easily and get it from the phone, which has got a too big a file on it to download easy.
Eric says the way that it is to be the base. Blank for me is top. I'm not quite sure what that means. Oh, the one without the letter, presumably.
Well, I've got it set up there like that, so we're going to go with either that as the top or the other. Yeah, I did refuse to join you guys, and there's a good reason for that. If I didn't hold the camera, you wouldn't have got on. You wouldn't have got a video up. So that's my excuse, and I don't sing anyway.
That'll do.
I've only got one note, and that's crap, and that's out of tune as well.
As Robbo says, you have more sense.
Yeah. So It looks like we've got at the moment one for each way. So
Yes, yes, we're not getting very far, really, are we? Side showing
sides,
us bottom.
yeah. I'll give it another half a
That
minute
could
just to
be the
let you.
deciding vote.
Yeah, give it another half a minute just in case
Yep,
the chat's slower on here or you're slower than what we are. But
me, I'm very slow. Yeah.
well, I don't intend to. David J. Heath, the Guildford carpenter, Mr. Wood Butcher himself, Keith Jarvis. Hi,
Ah,
Keith.
top.
Keith is from the Southampton's Veterans, which is where I
Oh,
go
right.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I went down there and we give him a few lessons, took a load of wood down. He's been up and come up with it. Right, Robbo's thrown a spanner in the works and said R as the top.
That's winning
Ross,
so far, I think. Just.
is it okay then?
Oh no,
Well,
sorry. R is base. No, Robbo's changed his mind. So it looks so R is the base then.
okay, so
Yeah.
it will be that way up then.
Hmm.
That's basically what I decided on anyway.
So that's what you
Because
had in mind, wasn't it? Yep.
yeah, I'm going to try. Is the picture gone? And do a bit of a rolled edge on it. So it's going to have a small bowl, and I'm hoping that small bowl will show some of that figure and flame that's in there. So if that's the top, I need to put a faceplate on there. Well, mine's a ring plate, so I've already got the centre marked because ironically that is the centre and where from when I cut it, and I always just pick a couple of spots on the edge on the pencil line before I cut it, and just run the compass through so I know where the centre is. I don't have to wuss around then. But I'd also made sure that that was right, so that if I did need to pick up a centre on this side, I could just hold the point on the outside and four opposing places, and the centre of where they sort of intersect would be where I'd line it up from. So bit of maths and geometry all in one here, guys. So this is set up the correct outside diameter for my little F jaws that I use in preference to the big C jaws, and I don't need the big C jaws on here. So this one's got, I think we worked out 35mm
35mm. Yep.
recess.
Yep.
Yep, against the 50mm recess on the C jaws. So as I'm setting up from start to finish, grab a felt tip. As this is the inside, I can draw on it. The grain runs that way. So what I'd want to do is fix this. I only fix with 3 screws. There's 6 holes in there. So I want one in the top, in the grain. These are only 1/8, so there's not a massive amount of screw going in there. So one in there. With it still loose, I can adjust it. And I'm going for these two. And I'll tell you why in just a second, when you can see where they are. Now, each of those is in a separate grain, if that makes sense. If you imagine this was a bunch of straws, which it is, each of those screws is in a different slot between the straws. So if I was to put 2 screws in there, in that straw, there's a chance that it could split. But with only 1 screw in there and 1 screw in there and the other screw in there, they're between the straws, so they're not spreading them. If I couldn't do that, and I wasn't sure that 3 screws would be enough, if I twist that This one's only got 5 on it, but it still gives you the whole same idea. Just twist it a
It's got
fraction.
six.
No, this one's only got 5.
Oh, sorry, the other one. Big pardon.
Yeah, the other one's got
Couldn't
6.
see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So just twist it a fraction so that that screw and that screw are slightly in different lines.
5 is quite good for that, actually, isn't it?
It is, but
Yeah, but
6
yeah.
is better. 6 works. And
Oh yeah, you just twist it a bit. Yep.
Yeah, I've got 2 with 6 and 1 with 5. So I'll change the camera in a minute, guys. All I'm doing is just putting blank on the lathe. So there we go. Right, what camera are we going on? I think we're going on the above, which is that one.
And then I'll start reading out who's here, shall I?
Yeah. See if I can give you a slightly clearer view. And
Yes,
I
there's
think
quite a
I've
few.
also fixed the issue that I had with the locking lever not locking up and wanting to twist. So I bought a new one, and I don't know why, but they'd heat tempered the very end of it, and it was ringing the shaft of the tool rest.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, not fun when you're trying to lock
No,
it
not,
off and do
not a good
whatever
idea.
you want to. No,
No.
but
It tends to recenter itself, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've chopped it off completely. I actually made it a fresh one thread too long, too short, so I had to
Oh dear.
clean up the face. But hey, we can get over it.
Yeah, you can't win
Anyway,
everything.
no.
Right,
Right,
okie doke. These are
big
the people
supper
who are
on.
in strictly alphabetical order.
Right,
Barry
let's find
Fitch.
some glasses.
Sorry.
Okay, you carry on.
Barry Fitch, Chris Dodds, Circular Wood by Keith, Darren Callison, Gav Sadai Woodwork, Greg Alexander, Jay's Cabin, Jennifer's Craft and Creations, John from Jigs's Shed, Lawrence Begaja, Richard Felon, Rob CP, Robbo Robertson, Robert Dolman, Sid's Repurposing, and Webfoot Resin and Wood Creations. If I've missed anybody, I apologise. I'll just check the bottom of the chat. No, that doesn't look as though anybody else has come in. So there we are. That should be complete, but do put a message on there if I've missed you, and I'll read it out again.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming over.
Actually, I think I saw Flick in there. She wasn't on that list.
Flick's in there.
Flick's in. So sorry, Flick, you're not on the participants list. It may be you've only put 1 entry. I think it takes 2 to register. So apologies for that. Welcome, Flick.
So how am I cutting this? I've got the bevel rubbing. I'm going on to the left wing by just gently turning half a degree. So I've got a bevel supported shear cut. I'm getting the shavings off of there. It's not the fastest cut, but with dodgy wood, it's always better to have a supported cut if you can. As I get down further, I can increase the cut.
Eric Winkler's telling me I missed him, so apologies, Eric.
And the beauty of me doing it this way, I'm not getting covered in shavings. It's throwing them away from me. I'm standing in line behind, turning, well, basically left-handed. But I can be forgiven for that. I'm a right-hander, basically, but I can turn universal when it does come in useful. I shan't say I'm spotlessly clean, but I don't have a chest full of shavings.
"33 people in," it says.
Welcome, guys.
It's a good start.
Yeah, and I know a couple, well, at least one name that's in the chat was at the Weekender, the Chestnut Weekender, which we just got over. That's where
Robbo's
Gigsy was
suggesting
doing his singing. Yep.
you could move the tool rest out a bit. I think probably means over to the left, I suspect. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
I thought before then I might even lift it a fraction
Yeah.
to cut the mortise, because I'm a bit of a lazy bugger at times. Don't see the necessity to keep moving it backwards and forwards. All this additional work is not good for a poor retired plumber.
Absolutely. Darren's saying he's finding it very handy to be able to work with both hands. Worth practicing. I couldn't
Yes,
agree
it
with him
is.
more. Yeah.
No, particularly wood turning.
Yeah.
And I say particularly wood turning because there's times when whatever you do, you're still going to go in absolutely plastered. But why should you go in absolutely plastered every time when you can just change hands and throw it in a direction away from yourself?
Trevor P is in.
Trevor P, that's a name that...
Trevor P, hobby turner. I've seen his name before.
I don't think I've seen him in with me, but regardless,
oh, right, okay.
You're all welcome. So that's my mortise finished with my handmade mortise ground at about 15 degrees. So make it look finished, I'll just put a couple of little marks inside, and I tend to put one on the outside, which gives the illusion that we know what we're doing and we care a bit. Well, we do care a bit, but we don't always know what we're doing. So what am I using? I'm using, this is a 5/8 bar, so it's a 1/2 inch bowl gouge in English terms. It's got the standard 45 major main bevel ground on it, and I've also relieved the heel, which is taken off at about 30 degrees.
The angle you were working at just then, you could actually see that second bevel and see what it was doing.
Just there?
Yeah, just there, yeah.
Yeah,
you can see
clear.
it, giving you some clearance. Yeah,
that gives me
really good picture.
Half of the main bevel by taking that heel off. So you can get, most of my work on this will probably be done with this today. I can get fine shavings, I can go aggressive. So I'm standing behind the chisel, I'm firing it in front of me, apart from the bit I'm chewing.
Tasty.
No, I'd rather have a bacon sarnie or a sausage sarnie.
I don't think Flick's convinced about the value of being able to turn left-handed. She says she's very cack-handed with her left hand or something like that. But as Darren said, it just takes a bit of getting used to.
Practice.
Yep. It really does pay dividends.
If you find you're being, as Flick says, cack-handed, hold the chisel against you and move the body. I'm not hugging the chisel, but it's resting against the beer gut, which gives me basically a third hand. If you've got the holding hand flapping around in the breeze, you've got no strength when it's away from the body. But if you
And
pull it against the body is the third hand.
that's where the lack of coordination with your left hand really shows up, isn't it?
Mm.
When it's not supported. Barry Chitty's in.
Hello, Barry.
Apologises for being late. Says he's got grandchildren here. Hello,
Well,
Barry.
for you.
You don't always have any choice.
Just defining very top.
Eric's off to work, but excited to see the finished bowl. So it'll be on there later.
Yeah, certainly be on my Facebook channel. Now, as you can see, I keep creeping in from either side. I'm going uphill across the little straws, across the grain. There's a bit of a bounce just there. I don't know why it is. It's just come in on that last cut. So
something's there, isn't it?
There's a knot.
Yeah, it could be that one, couldn't it? Yeah.
No, it's here.
Oh, there is it, right?
Yeah, some odd bit of grain just there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We'll put the tool rest outside, leave it at the same speed, and see if we can cut it this way. So I've got it locked on shut. I'm now turning with the lathe in reverse because I can. And I'm sorry for you guys that only have forward.
Robert says it's not a beer gut, it's ballast. Laugh out loud.
Thanks, Robbo. You're a mate. Yeah, as I was saying, it's not me showing off because I have a lathe that has got reverse on it. It is no different really to you going out in the car and turning your aircon on because you've got a fairly new car and your mate can't turn it on in his 1950s Model T. If you've got it, you use it.
Flaunt it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I tend to use reverse. Not all the time, not every time. But it does make life easy. Need it in forward this way because I'm not going to stand over the back.
That could be interesting to watch, though.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, you're trying to ride the lathe.
Yeah, John Jigsy said his lathe only goes forwards. Lots of people do only go forwards, Jigsy. I my second lathe goes backwards, but my first one didn't. And you find ways around it. But reverse is a nice option to have.
Like I say, I've got it, so I use it.
Benjamin's in. And Copperell. Hello, Rob.
Rob. How's the troublemaking skills today, Ben? You've not been banned yet. You've not been put in the corner. So.
Darren says, "See, told you I could summon Ben." That was what it was about, was it? Right.
In that case, I think we need to ban Darren.
No, he's coming up with some interesting comments.
Yeah, I think everyone does. As long as there's a little bit of wit and humour, I'm very happy with that. There's still a flat spot just there. Don't know whether my mic picking it up. No, but there
just
is.
just a little bit, yeah.
where the third hand comes in useful. Not quite. Bevel on first, lift the handle, there's the cut. Roll it. It's now gone. Let's stop and have a look.
Jennifer says she's got to go. She's just got to Stonehenge.
Oh, where are you off to then, Jennifer? Down the West Country somewhere?
Yes, she's down in our neck of the woods at the moment. Well, nearly. Salisbury way.
100 miles off.
Yeah, it's close.
There's a funny bit of grain there. I've got a funny feeling that where that was picking up is where I've glued the outside.
Oh, right, yeah.
A bit deeper in there. Well, the outside seems pretty good, so I'm gonna run with that.
Darren says, sorry, go on.
So there's a bit of a bark inclusion there. I don't think we can do anything with it. But, let's get some 40 grit on there and see what that does to it.
Darren says, hey, I love these live streams for the banter. The wood turning ain't bad either. So good job you added that.
Yeah. Right. I tend to start sanding, not every time, in reverse. I do have the big sucker working, and it. I don't know whether you can quite see it over the back there.
Yep, no, you can see that. Yep.
Yeah. So I've got a new light I can play with. Doesn't look like it's burning it out too much.
No, that's all right like that.
Yeah. The worst bit is going to be deep in there because it'd be a job to get a power sanding disc in there. It's fairly tight.
Yes, yeah.
So
I like doing it with your fingers. You can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel the heat building up a bit in the paper.
You know when to stop. Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to leave that edge for a minute. Don't really need 80 on this, but I'll just give it a quick lick.
So Jennifer,
slightly hollow.
Jennifer says they started off at Exeter on Thursday, been to Cornwall and Lyme Regis and Portland Bill, Stonehenge now, and start pointing north to go home tomorrow.
Right.
Quite a round trip.
Where are you stopping tonight then, Jennifer? So without pressing hard, lightly tickling the wood, but I keep finding a fresh bit of cutting edge. All the dust is run up under the rim. You watch it come off now with my finger.
Yeah.
It's actually quite therapeutic seeing it come off. You think, oh, I haven't been doing it for the sake of just standing in there like an idiot.
See what you've removed, yes.
Yeah.
Michael McEwen is in.
Hi, Michael. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Go and do a little bit of sanding in the correct way round.
Lionel Letelier de Leo is in.
Hi, Lionel. So with that dodgy bit of grain in the bottom there, the forward and reverse works quite well. I've got just a little bit of a mark in the very bottom. It seems to want to show more with the sawdust in it.
Sidley 61 is in.
Hi guys.
Nice stream of people still arriving.
Yeah, good. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just going to move the camera back a fraction and point it up so that just there on the end of the digit is where that crack is from the other side, which has got sawdust in. but the problem is it's left a little bit of a gap, and that actually comes down through there as well. So I've got some. It's going to be interesting. I'm not going to be going round at 1500 revs. I'm going to keep to the low speed on this one, as it will cut just as quick.
Jennifer says she's staying at Basingstoke tonight.
Okay. Yes, it's definitely our neck of the woods.
Darren's covering his back now. He says, Chris, after Robbo, the UK guys are my go-to to learn. Very sensible.
Yeah, but don't forget there's some better than others, Darren.
Yep.
There's some you wouldn't want to copy or try and emulate. And this was a topic of conversation that came up several times over our Chestnut Weekender that we've just had during discussions outside, and also discussions with the turners that were the 4 professional turners we had doing a stint each. And many a comment was made, don't try and emulate what someone else is doing. They've either had a lot of practice or they were exceptionally lucky, particularly on the YouTube channels.
Benjamin's got straight in on this one and said, Darren, I'm glad I could teach you a thing or 5. I'm not going to make any comment to that at all.
No.
I absolutely refuse to be drawn.
Yeah. Could be detrimental to one's viewing figures.
It was Jennifer says, Benjamin, he's great at anything north of the M4. Anything south of that is rubbish. So, okay, fine.
Yeah.
John Jigsy Shed had just said Jennifer could pop into Axminster Tools while she's in Basingstoke, and Hobbycraft is right next to it too.
She's probably been in the main store at Axminster.
Probably, yeah. She's been down that way, so that will fill up the evening for her.
Unloading the car.
Yes.
That's 120. Tackle it with a new bit of once used 240.
Basingstoke is our nearest Axminster Tools, isn't it? According to their website, anyway.
Yeah, what's the one down in Kent?
There's one in Kent somewhere, but I think on mileage, I think Basingstoke's a bit nearer.
Okay.
It's just a quick run along the 272 and up the whatever it is.
It's up the 272, and then it's just off at Basingstoke, isn't it? No.
It's off the 830, whatever the Newbury Road is.
Yeah.
It's off that road, isn't it? 836 or 4 or something like that.
Just have a gander at what we've got. It's a shame that's
looking very nice.
Yeah, it's a shame that crack's quite as wide and quite as pronounced underneath. But
oh yes, sorry, I just caught a glimpse of it then as you said it. Yeah, I suppose you could fill it.
Well, there's nothing to fill. It's filled from the other side.
Yeah,
it was a reasonable crack, but I know what people are saying. Why do you turn rubbishy wood? The wood isn't rubbishy.
No.
It's on its own. It's just got a fault.
But it's a natural fault, and I quite like those. I don't mind those. I tend to use milliput mostly for mine. And I've got some Cuprinol wood filler brown, which is quite good for it.
So that's cellulose sanding sealer from Chestnut. Now I've got some.
Yeah, that was one thing about the weekend. You could stock up on chestnut stuff. Yeah,
and all of Simon Hope's kit.
That's right, because Ed was selling a lot of it, wasn't he?
He had most of it on there.
The
only thing he didn't have was the little 6mm cutters with him.
Oh, really? Yeah.
but I saw him Friday night setting up. So I said to him, "Oh, you in tomorrow? Have you got the Hope cutters?" So he said, "No." I said, "Oh, bugger! I wanted a couple of them." He said, "No problem. I'll put them in the van in the morning," which
Oh
he
right,
did.
so good. So
Yeah,
you got some.
so I got some. Yeah.
Oh, he was going home, was he? He didn't stay.
No, he was camping at home. Right, so we're going to use, if I can get it out the can, Wood Wax 22. It's a tad on the hard side in the can. I'm going straight over, ramp up the speed a bit. I'm going to need to melt some of this wax off. Now I'm applying it with Weebrax, and the Weebrax I use is an equivalent grit of 1600. They do. Chestnut one is a different colour, but they do exactly the same thing.
Jennifer says Sir John, Mark came out of Axminster Tools, Angie Handles, £300 lighter.
Yeah, well, he's okay.
It's not difficult.
No, that's okay. Yeah, you can only spend it once.
That's right.
So that's in forward. Now change to reverse. Take off the whiskers that it might have raised. Not massive speed still. Must be about 300, I think, something like that. So now I can push the speed up to around about 600, 700 I should think that is. Just to melt the wax in. As it's hard, it can take it. There's very little left in the tin. I'm not going to water it down to get it workable again. Heat does that with wax, as everyone knows. So
should be all right today then.
Yep, although it's still solid in the bottom there.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, Sammy left the lid off.
Yeah, because once the solvent's gone, then it not enough. Yep. It'd take an awful lot of heat to make anything of it.
Weebrax goes in the tin, lid goes on, otherwise it goes hard, which I can guarantee. Drop the speed down a fraction. Now, chestnuts say leave it for 15-20 minutes. Yeah, you guys don't want to watch.
Hi, Jennifer.
15 or 20 minutes. Thanks, Jennifer. So I'll take it off now. Doesn't get quite the gloss finish that you would if you left it. But you can see the sanding dust coming off on the paper, which is in the wax, which is up my hooter now. So I doubt whether I'm going to finally buff this. I can always do it from the front, or I can remount it if I need to another day to give it a once over. I know Andy quite often he'll take his off as finished, but give it a buff over on the buffing systems, just to give
just gives it
that
little
gloss.
Depth of gloss. Yeah, I get a lot of comments about my finishing, and I like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
All of them complimentary, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't know that apart from that little bit of a mark there, which is where wax is still on there. Yes, I can feel it in my finger now. I've got a little bit less paper under it.
That's where buffing also helps.
Yep.
Tidies up bits like that. So Jiggs has just bought himself a Pro Edge.
And being allowed out for a day as well.
Yeah. He's just waiting for it to arrive. So
just have a word with your missus then, Jiggsy.
Robbo says just add some terps to the wax to soften it.
Yeah, Terps are white spirit, but there's not enough in there. That's the wrong key.
I was going to say, it looks a pretty clean tin.
Yeah, it is. That's better. You can leave that in there, balanced on there. So there's the adjust camera. Very pretty bottom.
It's lovely, isn't it?
And
I'm not a
now you
great
can
bottom admirer,
see
but
the crack across the end there,
yeah,
which also just shows up on the camera. But that's just as good enough, right?
I was going to say it's not serious, is it? So
No, cool. Am I going to get that on there? I might. Yeah, just about. Right, that's on there just about. Normal method for me. Turn it, clean out the wax and the rubbish and anything that might be left in there. A final tweak without going Superman on it. You don't need to. Bring you guys back in just a second. Go and get a bit closer. You can still see. These are fully adjustable, if I remember. Right, forward. That's running pretty true. Go up to about 700. Yep. These first cuts are the worst ones. As you can hear it and possibly see it bouncing. So the bevel on, no cut. Lift the handle. Engage the cut. Don't push onto the wood. Because if I drop that speed right down, if I was to push onto the wood, you see what's happening with the chisel? Is that coming? Yeah, you can just about see it in the picture, can't you?
yeah.
It's riding the waves. So it's going in and out. It will still cut. Not the easiest to cut, but it's still cutting and you're getting the spiral shaving off. So we bring the speed up. And rather than hold the bevel on tight, I'm floating the bevel. Chisel's still moving. Not too bad.
Thank you, Barry. Barry Fitch says every bottom has a crack in it.
Ex-mariner, you should know. Right. I need to start about there. So I'm on solid wood down here, but I'm still bouncing up there. So from both ways, gingerly, so that we're going down the profile of the straws. And no one picked it up, but when I cut the outside, I was actually cutting uphill.
Yeah.
But it was a slow, steady cut. And I knew it wasn't going to be an absolutely finished cut, so didn't have any concerns about it. try and get this outside done before I take any of the waste from the inside. Just defining where the edge is likely to be. And where I'm standing, which is in front, is away from the line of fire, which is over there. I'm not standing in the way should a bit come off. I'm very careful of that. And the other thing that I've done, and I do all the time, is I swivel the headstock. I know not everyone can, but if you can, it does make the life a lot easier turning. I've got a flat spot on here somewhere. Ah, yes, quite a big flat spot. Okay. Hopefully, guys, it's beginning to make sense the way I approach things and do things. The worst I can do at the moment is get hit in the arm if the lump comes off. And that's nearly there. I think it is there. Taking off very fine fairy dust shavings.
Baz from Real Simple Things is in.
Hello, Baz. No, there's still
Bonjour.
a little flat spot there. So I've still got enough to get to it. Coming from the crown.
I think Steve Ellis is new to the chat, so
Hello, Steve.
welcome, Steve.
Everything seems to be taking a long time at the moment, but and then all of a sudden
it's age.
You've got the centre out in one hit. Now there's still a margin just there. So that's what the stop button's for, guys. So you can stop and check. One more stop, and I think.
Baz says, "What you making? You spelled Y-E-W."
It's certainly not going to get any heat on it to burn it. Right, that's holding together quite nice. You can see the natural colour and the slight bark inclusion there. There's the massive crack that super glue filled.
It's a rolled rim bowl, Baz.
Yeah. So we can still go in with the same chisel. Check the wall thickness with the digital calipers. Yeah, I think I'm pleased with that. Take the centre down a bit now. Carve that cut again. Stop just shy. down a bit deeper. Do you want to bang your link in for your next one, Andy?
I haven't got a link for it yet.
Sorted yet.
No,
well,
no.
Well, you can do the audio and tell everyone what's happening then.
Right.
Got a combo coming up while I unscrew this.
We have indeed. Excuse me. 7th today, so we've got 9th of September in the evening Scott's doing. 14th of September, Tuesday evening, I'm doing. My regular standing in for Rich. And Keith is doing the lunchtime one on the 14th. And then on the 16th, on the Thursday evening, in Scott's slot, Keith and I are doing a combo turn of a mushroom. So 7:30 start on the 16th of September, and you'll see both of us turn mushrooms.
It's part and parcel of the Mushroom Fortnight Challenge that someone said.
Hashtag Fortnight, yep.
So we're going to go for that. We're going to put our own twist and way that we do it. It'll be much the same as we've done in the past.
Yeah,
whoever starts will do a section, then the other one will do a section. You'll only be one on camera at a time, so you've got no fear of missing anything.
Yeah, it's not a race.
No, we both get there at the end. Just one will be 5 minutes earlier than the other one.
Yep, we've done wands, we've done egg cups, and this is going to be mushrooms. Just been discussing the timber we're going to use. I think we're both going to use yew, aren't we?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I've certainly got a piece of yew sitting here. I sorted out earlier for it. So, and it'll be on Keith's channel.
But I'll put a thumbnail up later on and put it in all of the public Facebook pages. So it'll be on Jennifer's, Woodturning International, and the Woodchuckers Guild. Those are the three I tend to use. YouTube didn't like me putting it up onto private pages the other month, so that's why I stopped doing it. I can put it up onto my own, but I couldn't add to other pages. So let's go over onto the back camera. See if that. Where's the mouse? What have we done with the mouse, Andy?
It's just there.
You're right. Don't we have trouble? I expect it's gone to sleep. No, it's still
Robbo's
awake.
passed a comment.
Right.
Oh, Keith. Robbo says, Keith, that chisel sounds blunt.
It's getting a little bit blunt. It's still cutting nicely. I want to go on to the back one, that last one, number 6.
Hello, Adam. Adam's in.
And his question bleached out. We'll go back to what we were on then.
And his question is, what is it about woodworkers, woodturners and mushrooms? I don't get it. As usual, you might say, but why is it such a thing? They're quite a pleasant thing to turn. They sell quite well and they feel lovely. I think that answers some of your questions.
That's basically what I would have said. Right. With the 1/2 inch double ground bevel, I'm going in, cutting. It's sharp enough to take nice hairy bits off, Robbo, so I'm okay. I'm keeping it on the bevel. By going up, I'm almost cutting at 11 o'clock at the moment. I can now swing round keeping it high. You need to just clear a little bit of rubbish out the middle. I can swing round that dodgy bit of grain figure that we've got in it. That's what's kicking it and making Robbo think it was an issue or a blunt chisel.
Well, that was too easy, Adam. He says, I must try it then, lol. I obviously won't get it until I try it, he says. Quite right.
So I'm at about 10 o'clock and now I'm starting to let the chisel lift the handle to bring the chisel back down to finish cutting, and the tool rest is marginally too high. Oh.
Stuart Angley is in.
Hello, Stuart. Still too high. I want to finish cutting at the centre. That's better. Yeah, that's the bouncing you can hear, Robbo. I think that is just purely the figure and the grain in the wood. We'll stop and have a look in a minute. Come in up to 11, 12 o'clock, hold it down and finish cutting just underneath the centre.
Doug Miller is in.
Try and pick up the pip. Now I know this isn't going to be the easiest to finish in the bottom because of the grain that we've got.
Something was fighting back, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a
just
branch
there.
inclusion there, which was throwing me, making me miss. There's an end of a branch just through there. There's some weird and wonderful bits through there. But, there's a crack that's opened up a fraction there. Okay, so we're getting nice and close, and I will do a left-handed cut or cutting in reverse. Now I don't want to take much off. I want to just take off 0.5 mil at the most. But I can see where I'm going. I can see I've got bevel contact. Not sure whether you guys can. Now
yep.
Creeping up. I'm well above 10 o'clock now. I'm about 11 o'clock, just coming up to on the clock dial. That's taken out that horrible banging. Now I can lift. Now I'm round on the bottom. I can lift the handle, still cutting. Just a little bit closer, adjust the body and drive it home just below bottom, and there's the pip that I've just wiped off the end of the gouge. It's a much better finish.
Yeah.
I had it, so I used it. I know a lot of you guys can't, and you don't have the facilities to just micro adjust the headstock either. But if you're thinking about a new lathe, looking at a new lathe, seriously consider one that's got all the additional features, like being able to move things.
Lawrence Begasia says Robert Sorby sells a tool for undercutting of the mushrooms. Keith's made his own. Yeah, I don't tend to use one. You'll see when we get to it. I use the normal gouge. I guess as best I can.
What I would say, and I've tried it and it didn't work, is don't use a carbide, round carbide. If you get, as you could do going into a tight undercut, 3 sides, if you can believe there are 3 sides on the round, it can tear it out of the chuck.
Gets a bit exciting.
It doesn't do you any favours. You need to be cutting on 2 points only if you're going in to do that, So that's either directly in front of you at 90 degrees and at about 45 degrees to that. I wouldn't try and go 45 either side of the 90 at the same time. Wood and tool don't like it. If you're doing a big undercut, you can get away with it, so that you've got room that you can actually move the tool across.
Jay's cabin is in. I think he's only just arrived.
Don't know. I've not been watching the chat. I've been
I
concentrating on
haven't seen his name before.
getting a nice cut. So this is a bit of 80 paper. Speed drop down. Actually drop it down a bit more. Save a heat build up. I could do this on the power sander. I could do it with a Simon Hope. What do they call them, Andy?
The hollowing, no, the inertia sander.
Inertia sander, yeah, inertia was what I couldn't think of.
Yep.
Could do it with that. Don't always have a lot of success, particularly across the middle.
They get tricky at the middle, yep.
Making sure I've got a decent bit of paper and decent cut there. And I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to stop, check it through. I've got a little bit of tear just there. I don't know whether you guys can, you can just see it on the camera.
A bit on the opposite side as well, I think.
Yeah, there's a few rings there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to invest in a new bit of paper, because that's got hot.
I'm going to leave you to it for a minute. I'll be back in a tick.
Okay, don't want that bit. So while he's not here, don't talk about him, guys. He's not that bad. It could be worse. You could have just me and then not picking up any of the comments. So there's a bit of 80 grit. And if anyone's interested in any of this, particularly UK, I do stock it. I'm not an official stockist, but I do stock this stuff. It's Velcro cloth backed, so you can use it, cut it into squares, and use it on your inertia sanders, power sanders. That's better. This bit's actually cutting. So if anyone's interested, drop me a message, email, whatever, through the channel, and we can touch base. That's better. So my final cut was in reverse, so I'm now sanding forward. You'll see what's happening. Oh, that's gradually going. There's an exceptionally hard bit just there, where it's brown, and there's a brown bit there. I don't think that's too bad. I'm just going to knock it into reverse, give it another quick lick and a promise. There's a nice flow on this one, nice shape to it. Sometimes you can have a threepenny bit shaped bowl where you've got a little bit aggressive on the cut and not blended it in, faded it in well enough. I don't think there's anything worse to me than seeing a dog bowl shaped bowl. And by a dog shaped bowl, I mean one that you've been given a nice bit of wood. Oh, I don't want to waste the wood. So you've attached it to whatever. You've cut almost a vertical side on the outside. You've then almost made an identical cut on the inside, so in effect you've made a parallel sided box, but a big box without a lid, and you're over the moon with it. But to me, there's no art in that at all. There's no intensive skill involved. All right, you've got the walls down to 1/8 of an inch, 3mm. Yahoo! The walls on this are only 3, maybe 4mm. Wasn't intending to go quite as thin. I've still got a little bit of sandpaper mark there, so go back into reverse. Don't press too hard. Keep the paper moving. I can see the dust coming off of it, so I know we're okay. Welcome back, Andy.
Hello.
We're just on the final throes of sanding. It's nearly gone. Back to up to 240. You can just see the dust coming off and disappear down the big hole. It's surprising how much you can get off.
Yeah.
If you're not getting sawdust coming.
So my front doorbell. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah. If you're
Alison's
not getting
in there.
Sawdust coming off like that, you're either got a piece of paper that is well past its sell-by date, or you're pressing excessively hard. There's no heat generating through the paper into the wood. It's a light finger. I can feel where I am, right in the middle.
Robbo is suggesting that he thinks it needs a line round the rim to define it.
I was
I can see what he's saying.
Yeah. I was thinking of actually doing a rim or a bowl within a rim earlier on, but through having to take this last bit off, it escaped me. I haven't got a lot of wood in that top there. Let's see what we can do to please the old bugger. I mean, Robbo. Something sharp would be good.
Lawrence, I think you'll find that the sealing dust extractor is a very good idea. It does help. I've got mine on at the moment, the record one. But the idea is good. I can't put it behind my lathe. There's not enough room. But just having it there makes a difference.
Is that one sharp? It was last Christmas.
Chris Dodd said, "Love that shape, by the way, Keith."
With the tip of a spindle gouge going in with the flute virtually closed.
Carefully.
Yes, with bated breath and careful. I think I can turn the lathe off to move the tool rest, and the bit of paper doubled over. I'm not sure whether I've got a double. I have. I've got a double cut in there. Now I've taken the fluff off.
Robbo agrees with you. Old bugger is right, he says.
Yeah, I didn't want to broadcast it to everyone though, at Robbo. I think that has shifted it.
It does define the bowl nicely, I have to say.
Yeah, I was umming and ahhing about doing something. I always try and put something on there, but I'm never quite sure. Yeah, that's better.
It is, definitely.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, tickling stick. Get rid of some of the dust that seems to have stuck to everywhere and my arms. My shirt. You never think this was clean last week. I mean today. Oh, yeah, it's one I wore Saturday at the show. Come home and said, I need that Tuesday. Oh, bloody hell, you don't give me much chance. Still more. You've got over a day. Right. It's the good old chestnut. Seeing as we've got some now. Not a heavy coating. That's enough to make it shine. And put a bit of a glisten on there. Leaving the lathe running slow. Just a gentle pass with a bit of paper just to pick up any loose dust. It doesn't really show. That's better. Kill that light for a second. Just need that to dry off, which it will have done by now. So I'll turn the big sucker off because I got fed up with it now, although I can't really hear it, but it's in the background.
Oh, thank you. Do you want the other one?
Thanks, Alison. I'll have a black coffee, love.
She's gone.
Oh, right.
She doesn't hang around that long.
No, in case she gets given another job, I know. Right, exactly the same as the outside. Chestnut's best quality, wood wax 22. Burnish it in. A little bit more on if I can get it out. Yeah, there's a bit there, just around the very edge.
That's almost poetic, Darren. He says he loves the blonde cheeks on this piece of wood.
They do frame it, I must admit.
This is what I really like about you, though. Not you,
Yeah.
but you.
Yeah.
When you start getting it, you start getting into it, and you come across all sorts of lovely features, which just make it all worthwhile.
Turn up the volume a bit, get a bit of heat, get some of that wax mounted in, let it do its job on the back of the Weebrax pad. I'm not pressing excessively hard. I'm holding the Weebrax on there, keeping it moving. Just going over the very edge, thumbnail in the newly acquired Robbo groove. So that's in reverse, go into forward. One last burnish over. So what am I doing? I'm basically cutting out Yorkshire grit and what's the chestnut one in the pink tin?
Yes, cut and polish.
Cut and polish. So I've cut that out by using Weebrax pad. Drop the speed.
Which do a very good job. There are lots of different ways of getting the finish on there.
Well, until such times as Terry had developed cut and polish, and Glyn had developed Yorkshire grit. This was the method I used, and it saw me good for 20 plus years. Although I didn't use it in the very beginning because I didn't know about it.
No, that's right. I mean, you use it when you find out about it. And I must admit, it's got some very good uses, but I don't use it every time.
This Keith got blonde cheeks.
I was going to say, Robert says, yeah.
Yeah. I think they're a slight red after sitting on them all over the weekend.
So I never looked, Robert.
No, I did come home a little bit saddle sore and a bit of a ache in the back through not standing up much.
Yeah, and the chairs were not that comfortable, were they?
They're not as bad as the hall chairs.
I got a backache from them.
They had a higher back than what the hall ones do.
Yes, true.
I can't sit in the hall ones very long.
But we didn't sit down on Sunday.
No, but they've got a tendency to dig me underneath the shoulder blades.
Yeah, if we had sat down, we had to disinfect the chairs, so none of us did. Yeah. Or very few of us did. One or two did.
One or two did, because they're of that age. Right, it's got a gorgeous shine coming on it. Just need to gently burnish off the wax. Could have taken it off with a handful of shavings. I'm not sure that's always a good idea when you want a high gloss or a high-ish gloss in wax. I feel there's a little bit of, oh, to hell with it, another bit of paper.
Give the cat a goldfish.
Yeah. It's not any old job. This is a good job, hopefully. I've got my thumbnail running in the Robbo groove.
Twisted Pete is in.
Hello, Twisted Pete.
Late to the party. I've been out giving my life's savings to the timber industry merchant.
Yeah.
Sorry, it jumped just as I was reading it. Lost the last word.
So what are we doing? We're hour and 20. That's not bad. But it'll all be on the tubes anyway, forever and a day. So if you've missed anything or you want to go back to sleep, I'm not sure how many have nodded off. How many we got in the chat? We've still got 39 watching. So.
Yeah, still people making comments.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I would be
40 on YouTube.
Okay, I think there is now on there. So I'd be upset if I didn't get a comment, because it means that I'm probably doing it for myself.
Yes. Yeah.
But by getting a comment, at least you've got someone, someone's watching. So one final flourish in forward motion. And we'll see how easy it is to get off, because it was a little bit of a fight to get it on the jaws. It was a little bit mean with the mortise. Right. It's the wrong key, I think. Yep. I've got two chucks and they both got different size keys. One's 10 and the others, or one's 11, the others are 9. Right, let's hold that. You will come off? Yeah, it's coming off.
David McClernand's in. I don't think I caught him when he came in. Oh, sorry, David. I'm a bit late mentioning you, but welcome.
Let me.
And Chris Dodds reckons most of them are still awake, Keith.
Good. Well, there it is, guys.
Shiny.
And I've killed the big light. Let me go on to bag cam. What number's bag cam? 5.
I was going to say 5, but I thought that would be too much of a guess.
No, it's that one. Get rid of these.
So Darren says very, very nice, Keith. Sid's repurposing says nice, Keith.
So there's the overall shape, and it's uniform up through. I have got to just buff it because I can see a slight wax line just in the white.
Chris Dodds has done the Australian spelling of nice, NYCE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So, like you say, the lighter cheeks, the sapwood, actually
It's
give it
lovely.
character.
I like that shape. It's unusual. It's not easy to do an unusual shape these days.
Well,
Nick
it is
Castle
against
says
a lot of them.
that's nice. What's the base like? Can you just hold the back of it up? There we are.
There's a mortise in there which just needs a little bit of
But
attention because
there's
there's a
quite a
little
lot
bit
of
of
character
wax in there. Yeah,
character
there's
timber on
character
the
to the
bottom.
base.
Mm.
If you look at the start of the video, there was quite a got it. There was quite a lot of character through the centre, and there was a branch. I've lost it now.
Keith Jarvis has got to go, says bye
Yeah.
all.
Thanks, Keith. Be in touch, mate. There's a branch just there.
And David, no, not David, who was it?
Just about see the bark that came out through the edge. So we've
Yeah.
turned those off, which are a bit of a feature or a bit of an issue. And we've picked up the character from what was on the bottom, but we picked it up in the bottom of the bowl.
Sorted it out nicely, actually, hasn't
it? I'm pleased with it.
Chris Dodd says it's shinier than your head.
Yeah, that's because that's running with water at the moment, or sweat.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of sawdust on there as well, or talcum powder, should we say.
And Sid's repurposing says the Aussie spelling is Noice. Noise.
Noise. Yeah. Go outside and have a shake. That's the only trouble with being hot and sweaty, and it's 21 now. It's saying here, it's all sticking to me inside.
Everything sticks. Yep.
Yeah, a polo shirt.
According to StreamYard, it's 25.
Oh, StreamYard here is showing 28.
Down here? Oh, okay. God. Yeah.
Hi, Di. Sorry
Hello,
Di. It, mate. I'll catch you up. Nice to meet you guys over the weekend. Yeah, it was, mate. Hopefully you had a good run back home, Di. I got home and I remembered the bit of beach that Scott was going to bring home, but we forgot about it in the enjoyment of escaping. But I'll leave that up to him to work out if he wants to pay for postage down. But the line does set it off. Who said that? It's disappeared. Doug Miller, yeah.
Doug Miller, yeah.
So, yeah. That's the southern of Spain, hey, Chris.
Benjamin says, have a beer on me.
I will, but not till later on. Nick Castle, nice to meet you on Saturday. Keith, yes, Nick. It's always nice to put a face to a name. Because all you guys on there are basically just names.
Yeah, it's silly, but we feel as though we know you, but we've never met you. It's quite odd. Yeah. So no, it's nice to get to these things and actually see some people, put some faces to them.
Well, that was the first one we've had over here for 18 months. First head-to-head with anyone.
It is, yep.
Thank you, Barry, Mr. Chitty. So I'm going to hit the sod it all on my way button. Unless anyone's got any questions that they want answering, or unless anyone wants insulting, I'll see what the insult directory says. We can do that possibly.
But jolly nice to see you all along.
Yes, thank you, one and all. Thank you, one and all, for can't say wasting you time, but joining in with the chat. Thanks, Barry. He's off now, and I'm not at club next month because I'm manning the workshop for the museum or for the
I'm demonstrating.
Okay. Good luck.
Doing pens apparently.
Right.
That wasn't what I signed up for, but I was told afterwards that's what we're doing. So, but hey, it's easy enough.
Thanks, Darren.
And I think Barry's demonstrating as well.
Gav's going live at 2 o'clock. I'm guessing that's 2 o'clock air time, Gav, or 2 o'clock your local time. Whereabouts are you? You're UK based, aren't you? So it must be 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it must be 2 o'clock our time. Yeah,
Yeah. Put a
Friday at 2.
put a link in to Darren's. He keeps putting up. Darren or Sid, but keep putting up posts from Woodturning International that we're doing. You're doing a live. Yeah, GMT. Cheers, John. Sorry you embarrassed yourself singing, and someone else brought it to light, but it was all in a good mood. Hope you didn't get too much trouble getting it when you got home. So no questions. Everyone's off.
No,
So
that's it. Everybody's going. So
I'll
that's it.
I'll bring the boy back in,
Hello there.
and we're going to say cheerio.
Just enjoying
Thank you
my
very
cup of
much.
coffee.
Oh, I'm just going in to get one, and so I'm going to hit the end broadcast right now. So again, once
Bye,
and for
everybody.
all, thank you everybody, and I appreciate that, Darren. We like to support the safe turners. Really appreciate that, because I consider myself safe. If other people think, well, you're turning rubbishy old wood, yeah, but I like
Turning
to
it safely.
turn it safely. We didn't have any issues. No turners were injured during the process, so I think that's good. So, right, guys, on my way.
Lovely.
Bye for
Cheers, then.
now.
Bye all.